My name is Anderson Selvasegram. I'm the Executive Director of SUKA Society. SUKA Society is a national non-governmental organization set up to protect and preserve the best interests of children. We work on 3 different projects. The first project focuses on providing greater access to education for Orang Asli children. The second project we are involved with focuses on supporting human trafficking survivors in the country. The third project we are actively involved with is our community placement and case management program for children who are here in our country without their parents. When we first started, we felt that in our country we needed a lot more solution-focused projects that is not about residential care for children. We can't solve all the problems faced by children by placing them into a children's home, for example. There is also no such thing as a one-stop solution for all the challenges faced by children. So we wanted to go where the issues were, on site in partnership with the community, with working with children from marginalized communities and so on. All our projects, what we want to do is that we want to make sure that the projects are working directly with children, they are solution focused, and as well as they are they are sustainable and tangible kind of projects. I mentioned about kids who have been trafficked, for example. So you can imagine a scenario, or not necessarily children, but also in terms of adults, young people, and so on who have been trafficked into the country. We've met with many victims in our work at the protection shelters where they have similar stories of being forced into working in such conditions where they've been exploited, we've been taken advantage of. Many of them have been traumatized through this whole experience. And as such, when rescued, many of them are still suffering the effects of trauma and needing a lot of help. The second area of what we do a lot is, as mentioned, is working with kids who are here without parents. So many of these kids are, have gone through a tough time, right? Maybe they've experienced where one family member or all family members have perished due to persecution, or they have experienced a lot of sexual, gender-based violence, or are really being exploited or maybe unwell or whatever it may be. So a lot of the work we do is to ensure that these kids are protected during their time with us, kept safe, given all the necessary resources so that they're able to find their own footing again. In the third area we do, maybe I can just share about a conversation I had with an elderly Orang Asli community leader in Kuala Betis, Gua Musang. I asked him, because we run a preschool, we run quite a few preschools over there, community preschools over there, and we asked him, why as a leader he's supportive of what we're doing, and he shared his personal experience growing up in Kuala Betis. He said that when he was young, he didn't understand what it means to be poor. He said that whenever he needed food or things to trade or medicine, he'll just take a walk into the jungle. He can always find the things he needs. But unfortunately, as the jungle is being cleared around him due to logging, conversions into whether it's rubber, palm oil, musang king, durian, or whatever it may be, he's no longer able to find food or things to trade or medicine from the jungle. He says he now needs to buy basic necessity from nearby shops. He says that he now understands what it means to be poor. But the truth is that his grandchildren are going through a tough time as well. And as such, it's quite obvious, as to why the community is still struggling, financially, going through a lot of experiences through poverty or whatever, and so on, because, it's just not able to get themselves out of, the situation they're in. But apart from the bread and butter issues, I'm quite concerned about the state of education experienced by urban poor rural communities. If you are from, a rural community or deep in the jungle, among the Orang Aslis and so on, how are you learning online? How are you learning in the first place? Chances are, sadly, you're probably not. Especially if you're already struggling in your studies, you need teachers to help you along, you need people to guide you and so on. So therefore, in terms of education, it's definitely difficult, for many of them. So therefore, I think seeing our communities going through such a difficult time, there is no better time to come together to really work with some of these communities, get involved and help wherever we can do, whatever we can do to help some of these communities go through this pandemic together.